Yo guys, it's your boy Dylan, and today we're going to be doing our first MLB top 10 video for this offseason, starting off with top 10 most losses by each team in the 2023 MLB season. Starting off with the Cleveland Guardians at number 10. Although they were third place, they lost 86 games, but they were able to win 76, but unfortunately, they failed to qualify for the playoffs after last year they made the playoffs. Unfortunately, they were unable to reach to the playoffs this year. Number 9, Pittsburgh Pirates. Hey, at least they're not last place. Yes, same thing with the Guardians. They lost 86 games. They were able to win 76, and they were 16 games behind first place, games back of first place. But, like I said, at least they're in fourth place. And this past offseason, they reunited with Andrew McCutchen. If they probably would have not reunited with Andrew McCutchen, it probably would have been another last place season for Pittsburgh. Moving on to number 8, we have the New York Mets. 87 losses, but they were able to win 75. 29 games back of first place. And last year, they made the playoffs, and they were in the wild card. They were one win away from the division series, but in 2023, they just didn't do good enough to qualify for the playoffs again, unfortunately. Number 7, we have the Los Angeles Angels. 89 losses, but they were able to win 73 games. They were 17 games back of first place. At this point, I think the Angels need to be a postseason team with the dominance of Shohei Ohtani, not just his pitching, but his offense, too, how he can pump 40 home runs a season. And Mike Trout, this team should be a postseason team by now. But instead, 8 consecutive losing seasons for the Angels. Like I said, Los Angeles Angels fans, you need to have a postseason year at some point, I hope. Number 6, this team I am very disappointed about. And this is my hometown team as well. It's the St. Louis Cardinals. They lost 91 games, but they were able to win 71. 21 games back of first place. And they were the last place team. They were able to take over the Pirates spot of being the last place team. And this was the Cardinals' worst season since 1990 because they didn't go to the playoffs for the first time since 2018. They had their first losing season since 2007. And their worst season, or in other words, if you want to say it, their first 90-loss season since 1990. It's been over 30 years since the Cardinals last had a 90-loss season. Very unfortunate for this team. And I honestly, in my opinion, I think Wainwright should have retired a long time ago. He should have retired last year along with Molina and Pujols, but he decided to go for another year. Hey, at least he got 200 wins, but that's really their only good moment of the year. But this offseason, so far, the Cardinals were able to sign Lance Lynn and Kyle Gibson, but what's that going to do? Number 5, they do have the same record as the Cardinals. It's the Washington Nationals, 71 wins, but they do have 91 losses. They were 33 games back of first place from the NL East, but they did improve off of a 107-loss season that they had in the National League that they had a season prior going in 2022. They were literally the National League's worst team in 2022. But in 2023, they were able to improve. They were still last place, but they were able to improve on it, instead losing 91 games, winning 71 games. Number 4, this is the first out of the 4 teams that we're going to be talking about that do have over 100 losses. And that's the Chicago White Sox at number 4. They lost 101 games. They only won 61. They were 26 games back of first place in the American League Central. And unfortunately, they failed to make the playoffs for the second straight year. And they took literally a 20-loss decrease from 2022 on to 2023. 2022, their previous record was 81-81. That's literally a .500 record. But unfortunately, They lost 20 more games than what they did last year and won 20 games less than what they did last year. The second team that has over 100 losses is the Colorado Rockies. 103 losses. Unfortunately, this is one of the 3 teams that were unable to win 60 games. They only won 59. 41 games back of first place. They were the worst team in the National League in 2023. And the Rockies, not just their first 100 loss season, but their first 100 plus loss season. And that's their worst season in franchise history, unfortunately, for the Colorado Rockies. Number 2, if you thought the St. Louis Cardinals on the east side of Missouri was bad, well, go to the west side of Missouri, because the Kansas City Royals are number 2 in losses. 106 losses. They only won 56 games. They are 31 games back of first place in the American League Central. And this is tied for their worst season since 2005, unfortunately, for Kansas City. And clocking in at number 1, we have the Oakland Athletics. 112 losses. Wow. 112 losses. They only won 50 games in 2023. 50 games! And they were 40 games back of first place in the American League West. And that's literally 10 more losses than what they had from the previous season. And even worse, unfortunately, in the coming years, I believe no later than 2028, the Oakland Athletics will unfortunately be no more, because this offseason, the 30 owners approved the move to Las Vegas for the Oakland Athletics. And this will unfortunately leave Oakland Athletics with basically no teams left in Oakland. First it was Raiders. Correct me if I'm wrong, but first I believe it was the Warriors, then Raiders, and now it's going to be the Athletics. I feel bad for Oakland fans. No sports teams left in Oakland. I feel bad for them, honestly, to be fair. But unfortunately, this was just their worst season. Worse than last year, too. But unfortunately, that will conclude it for today's video. If you guys want to see more content like this, then smash the subscribe button and smash the like button if you want to see something else. Comment if you want to see something else. And until then, I will see you guys in the next video.